This is the Ace of the Week Gallery Part 2. This time we're going to look at tiers 4, 5 and 6. So we're still continuing that low mid-tier theme, showcasing your gameplay in those tiers. So without any further ado, let's have a look at the Aces of the Week Gallery Part 2. Hello again everybody and welcome back to Fujit's Blitz, and as I said, this is part 2 for the Aces of the Week for the third week of January 2019. We have only 3 games, one in tier 4, one in tier 5 and one in tier 6. And first off the bat is a good friend of mine, StanleytheFort from FTC 5, rolling out in the M7, the American medium tier 4. That got a bit of a nerf in 5.5. In fact, it lost some of its hit points, its DPM went down, the penetration went down, and the damage went down. But then came along 5.7, and it got some of its penetration back, especially on the AP. A lot of people said that the M7, after 5.5, seemed a bit buffed. It seemed a little bit OP. Well, it's always had relatively strong armor, to be perfectly honest with you, and it's always been a pretty difficult tank to penetrate. 5.5 I don't think buffed it to an extent, but because the tanks around it were nerfed so badly, it made this tank a bit more formidable than it used to be. And a lot of people between 5.5 and 5.7 went out in this tank and had a jolly good time. And a lot of people said it was a bit OP. I didn't think it was OP, but I think with the nerfs that had happened around it, it certainly became a lot more formidable than it previously used to be. So anyway, this is StanleytheFort rolling out of it here on Mirage. And as you can see, he's put himself in a pretty good position. He's got a Matilda, a tank that also got nerfed and hasn't got the same profile armor-wise that it used to have. In fact, it's a lot easier to pen nowadays. And he's also got a Hetzer there, which again was also nerfed. But the Hetzer, when it's in a side position, every man and his dog can penetrate it anyway. So StanleytheFort is doing a fantastic job here. He's effectively surrounded by a lot of tanks. Nobody's putting any shots on him, and he's basically got free reign. And there you see there a Panzer III doing a YOLO straight into the front of a Hetzer. Always good gameplay, always interesting to watch. The Hetzer is not long for this world. StanleytheFort is just taking a bounce there. He's already dished out 425 damage. Make that close to 500 now, and he's bounced just under 100. I mean, this is what happened when they brought in the changes in 5.5. It really did slow the gameplay down a lot in the lower tiers. And as you can see here, nobody's really pushing because the penetration values and the damage values are so low nowadays. And the reload, it's just not the fast-paced game that Blitz was meant to be. Now I understand that the guys did it because they had to keep new players interested in the game. Well, maybe this was a nerf too far. I certainly think it was, and you know, it sort of stagnated the game. It's no longer really Blitz, it's more like, I don't know, Cocoon. You remember the film Cocoon, where all the old people went up to aliens? But that doesn't detract away from StanleytheFort's gameplay here, because he's playing with a nerf tank, don't remember. His penetration values are down, his damage values are down also. So it's almost an equal footing. And look at this Matilda now. I mean, the Matilda is just easily penetrable now. And StanleytheFort is having a fantastic time in this tank. He's almost got to 1,000 damage. He's giving this Matilda a hard time. The Matilda, bless it, is a lot faster to get into trouble nowadays, when it used to be a lot slower and it didn't mind getting into trouble because everybody bounced it. That's the view you used to get from a Matilda, bright red. And StanleytheFort is finding those points to penetrate pretty easily. It's a shame. I used to love the Matilda, but, you know, times change. So this is going to be kill number 3 for StanleytheFort. And there's... oh, what's that? Oh, it's an Electo. Oh, we always love ramming Electos, so why not? I just love watching Electos being rammed. And as you can see there, StanleytheFort gets kill number 4 via a very good ram. 2 more tanks over there. They're going to come around the corner, or well, actually they're not. He's going to go around the corner and meet them. It seems all over, really, apart from the celebrating, to be fair. They're on very low hit points. There goes the BT. Oh, no, it doesn't go. He gets a bounce. I've never seen a BT bounce so much like that. And there's a Panzer III. What's going to happen here? Is he going to knock one into him? Yeah, of course he is. There goes the Panzer III, and there goes the BT. Kill number 6. Now, this is where you want the rest of the team to leave this tank alone. This is where you need StanleytheFort to be left purely to his own devices to take this last and final kill to get the Raz. However, a lot of gamers in Blitz don't understand this, so StanleytheFort are going to have to ram him. Oh, and he gets it. There is the Raz. The Raz is here. Yeah, I love it. It's always good when you get a Raz, and it's always good when you get a mastery at the same time. Great play there, StanleytheFort, and I'd really like to thank you for sharing that replay with us, because it was certainly a pleasure to watch. Next up, another good friend of mine, Stonewill of the clan FTC2. He's rolling out another American tank, the M4, the medium tier 5. Now, again, this tank got slightly nerfed during the Great Culling that was 5.5. It dropped some of its hit points, it increased its rate of fire, and, you know, the reload time went up from 7.5 seconds to just over 8 seconds. And it also lost DPM. I mean, the DPM on the AP dropped from 1,243 to 1,192. On the APCR from 1,049 to 1,006, and on the HE to 1,554 to 1,490. Problem is, it didn't stop there. Along came 5.7, and it lost even more DPM on its lower gun, which is the tier 4 gun, and it lost DPM insofar as the APCR went from 960 to 747. So unfortunately, it's had a bit of a bad time. But as you can see here, that hasn't really affected Stonewill at all. He's already done over 1,000 damage, and he's killed 2 tanks. I hardly see how the changes have really affected him. Again, the gameplay has slowed down slightly, even at tier 5. I mean, the damage has been decreased, so the games are a little bit slower. But here goes kill number 3. And this is the thing. I mean, the tanks are still playable. They're still enjoyable, even after the grand culling. You just need to play them slightly differently. And as you've seen here with Stonewill, and as you saw previously with StanleytheFort, if you adapt your style of play to those changes, then boy, you can be highly effective. I mean, Stonewill here has taken out 3 tanks. Okay, he missed out on a 4th, but he's taken out 3 tanks. He's done over 1,000 damage. We know he's going to get the mastery because it's Aces of the Week gallery. But it's not just that. Look at the style of game that he's playing. He's not running in. He's not rushing into the enemy. He's spotted them up now. They can't pen him from there. He's in a good position. He's slightly angled, so he's going to get some auto bounce. And he's waiting for them to come to him. They don't need to reset the base at this stage. They have plenty of time. It's 3 against 4. They're in a really good position. So no good you losing time and patience in rolling in and YOLOing to your heart's content. You just lose the game. Do exactly what Stonewill is doing here. Bide your time, pick your targets. And this is how you should be playing, not just the low tiers and the mid tiers, but all the tiers. And it always amazes me when you see people get into a tank and they just rush in. Because the more you rush, the quicker you die. It's as simple as that. And as you've seen with Stonewill, he's now got 4 kills. There's 1 tank left. There it is. Now they can push if they really want to. The game is literally in their hands. The chances of that poor Panzer bringing this back to get a Kolobanov +1 is pretty extreme, considering the amount of HP he's got left. Oh, nice bounce. Unfortunately, he didn't get kill number 5 there. That would have been pretty nice, but he's done 1,700, almost 1,800 damage. He's bounced quite a shed load. Maybe he's not going to be so lucky this time. No, the Panzer wasn't. Luck was a little bit on his side. He got not exactly the massive roll, but he finishes him off anyway. Kill number 5. Still, almost gets to the 2,000 damage mark, 1,940, load of bounces, and a well-deserved mastery, and a shed load of other medals. And again, I'd like to thank my good friend Stonewill of FTC2 for providing that replay. Again, it was a pleasure to watch. Last but not least, we have a regular provider and a good subscriber of mine. Sausage is here of the Clan Chop 2, rolling out in the AMX 12T the French light tank at tier 6. This is a nice little tank, but once you've got used to it. Now, I absolutely hate its predecessor. I don't get on with the AMX ELC BIS, mainly because I can't stand its turret. This, however, has a turret that goes all the way around, and it's quite nice. It's much better than its predecessor. It's got a long reload, to be honest with you, but it's an auto-loader. You've got 3 shots, and boy are those shots effective. Your burst damage is 480 on your standard AP. It will penetrate up to 144 and will dish out per shell 160, but the burst damage is what makes it. Now, okay, as I say, the rate of fire is just over 9 rounds a minute. The magazine reload time is around 15 seconds unless you've got all the barrels and braces, which means the magazine the shell reload time is about 2 seconds, which is okay. It's a bit lengthy when you're in the heat of a battle, but it's manageable. The biggest thing about autoloaders is obviously that magazine reloading time. There's only 3 shells in the magazine, so you're doing close to 500 damage with each magazine, which is pretty high at this tier, and that's what's so good about it. Clearly, being a light, it's got pretty effective camo profile. If you keep moving it, it keeps resetting, and it has the same profile as if it is stationary, but it is as light as and as thin as paper. It's a light tank, guys. It has absolutely 0 armor. You will damage this beyond belief with HE, for example. It has a few strong points armor wise. I mean, you stick it hull down, you're a little bit better, but it's not meant to be parked and stationary and sort of picking off targets like that. It's meant to be a demented little demon rolling around the battlefield. And this is exactly what Sausage here is doing. He is being a demented demon rolling around the battlefield. He's already dished out 1,200 damage. He's already taken a kill. And he's just rolling around like a demented fool. And this is how you're meant to be playing these tanks. You can see they're capping the base. They're on 70, 80 base points now. Sausage here is just going straight up to it, and boom, let's reset that cap and get kill number 2 just for good measure. I mean, this is what you do in a light tank, and this is what always amazes me when people get in light tanks. They get in light tanks and they think their job is to just rush headlong into the enemy, get wrecked, and be back in the garage before you even break the 5-minute mark. No. You're meant to be playing them like this, guys. You're meant to be spotting, getting the hell out of dodge, and then getting into positions like this in your light tank where you are dishing out unbelievable mayhem. And then go again. Get out of there. Disappear. It doesn't matter if your magazine's on a massive reload. Get out of there anyway. Because if that tank turns around and puts one into you, you're doomed, effectively. You may have 900 odd hit points, but trust me, they go down quickly if you've got an HE. So he comes around and finally takes out the tank. And this is what you should do. In the 88 had absolutely no chance in the end. He's still got shells. He's still got a reload, as you can see, I meant to say. And that's the length of time, but he's in a good position. He's protected by this big mound. There's only 2 tanks left. It's him against the world, effectively. Formidable targets. The KV-1 over there, it's not exactly the easiest tank to penetrate, even though it's a tier below this one, but it's still a pretty tricky tank to get rid of. So he's doing exactly what you should be doing in a light tank. He's relocating. That camo is exactly the same as it is as if he's stationary now. So he's relocating, hopefully trying to spot them up. And there we go. Tank comes into view. Can we take him out? Oh, low roll on the VK, and that's a shame. I mean, the VK should be playing like the AMX is playing, but he's not. Don't forget the VK is also a light tank. He should be getting the hell out of dodge, spotting up this AMX realistically for his teammate. Sorry, it's not teammate, it's a teammate in the KV. There's the KV again. Let's put some more. Oh, goes underneath. And that doesn't matter. We get a nice 140 there, and another roll into there. Whittle them down slowly, slowly. He's got a minute and a half to go. This, as long as he carries on playing like this, he hasn't lost a single hit point yet. And he's a really paper thin tank. Everything should be good. Bye bye VK. Stick your nose out too much. Now let's have a look at you, KV1. You're the last tank, which means that Sausage's here is on for a Kolobanov as well as his mastery. He's done over 3,000 damage, which is pretty impressive in this tank. To be perfectly frank and honest, he's just biding his time. See this? He relocates. The KV1 thinks he's still sat on that side. Sausage's here is relocating around the mound, hopefully trying to catch the KV1 out. Oh! KV1's not there. Where's he gone? I mean, I've never seen a KV1 move so quickly. I mean, that's unbelievable. I mean, they're normally slow, lumbering brutes of tanks. So where is he? Oh, there he is. He's popped. He's popped in the position where Sausage was here previously. Sausage is not here now. He's behind you. Oh, and there we go. We can put a lot of damage into you now. Sausage takes some big pain, though. But he gets it. There you go. A well-deserved mastery and a well-deserved Kolobanov. And no doubt a shed load of other medals and ribbons. I mean, that is how you play lights, guys. Don't go YOLOing in. You will get wrecked and be back in the garage before you know it. Do exactly what you saw there in Sausage's gameplay, and trust me, you will be more successful in lights. And on that point, I am going to release a video shortly, next couple of days, on how to play lights effectively. I'm going to leave you with Sausage giving the KV1 a run around, and I'd like to thank all of those who supplied their replays for this part 2. My big thanks go out to StanleytheFort, Stonewill, and Sausage is here. Awesome to watch you guys play again. A well-deserved Raz there for StanleytheFort. It was thoroughly enjoyable to watch, and you all deserved your masteries for spectacular gameplay. The cry goes out again. If you've got any ace videos or any interesting videos that you want showcased, please send them to the usual address, fujitsblitz@gmail.com. By all means, comment below, even press like, and if you really want to, press subscribe. It costs you nothing, it makes me feel good. And with that, I will say my usual, stay safe out there, guys. Have fun on the battlefield and happy tanking, because that's what it's all about, fun and happiness.